Hey guys, welcome. Jay here. This is smarthelping.com. I've got a pretty cool update. So I did a condo development model for build and sell only. Now we've got a condo development model for build and rent. Build and rent is essentially we've got unit costs for building. The main difference is now we have ongoing costs per unit type. We also have on the unit schedule here, we've added ongoing or starting rent per unit type for all 10 types. And the expenses will roll in here. You can still easily adjust when you're adding units and when those units are being essentially onboarded or starting to be rented out. Once you start that, I've just got some general assumptions about a vacancy rates can apply to the whole all unit types together. You've got up to 120 months you can run the forecast for. Option to sell or not, if you do, it's just going to be based on the net operating income of all the units against this exit cap rate. We also got property management fees will apply to the gross rent of all of the unit types. And then you can also choose to finance here. The main differences is, obviously you've now have unit rent instead of sales proceeds, and we've got potential for ongoing debt instead of just an interest-only loan. So I had to add that and an option to refi as well. So all that's working. I'd say I probably spent 4 to 5 hours updating this. So this version um, or converting um, the build to sell to build to rent. I liked the layout of all of these assumptions here. It's different than what I have done in the past for other build to rent models. So I think it's useful, and I've already had requests to convert this to build to from build to sell to build to rent. So that's why I just did it here. It'll be available as a separate template from the build to sell one, so you could download them both separately. What else here? Oh, I added visuals so you can see annual rent revenue, net operating income, cumulative cash flow, annual and monthly, debt service coverage ratio, total active units. You can see the monthly details updated to have rent and expenses instead of sales proceeds from selling the units. And so then we've got net operating income, development costs, all this debt logic here, refi, all this happening automatically. Um, if you don't choose to exit, you can always hit no here and it'll just show you the operations into perpetuity. So if I go to the monthly detail, you can see it just runs to the end with no repayment of debt or anything or no sales proceeds. Annual detail, same deal. So you've got rent, expenses, development costs, other development costs, all the debt and leverage, one-time costs, exit selling fees, GP fees if you're doing a fund, or if the GP is taking fees for whatever. And then the cash flow of the project, debt service coverage ratio. And then I've got monthly waterfalls here. I've got two options. So if it is a fund with GPLP, you can configure this, the contribution rate, the hurdle rates, the split of cash up until each hurdle rate's met for the LP. These are IRR hurdles. Got discounted cash flow here for the GP and LP. The GP doesn't have to contribute. You can do 100% LP and adjust accordingly. This is the annual summary of that waterfall. We've got IRR. Now the annual IRR is different than the monthly. This is more accurate because you're taking into account monthly cash flows and converting that to an annual IRR. But I showed both here in case you wanted to see a different basis of doing the calculation. Both are technically correct. Um, we also have a preferred return. This is a much simpler waterfall where essentially you give the LP a fixed preferred return rate. It can accrue or not with this, yes or no, like if you have unpaid returns because you didn't have enough cash flow. And also you can reduce equity with profit share or not. So right after the preferred return hurdle is met and any accruals of that, depending on how you configure it here, The rest of the cash flow will be split at this hurdle rate 70/30. So it's pretty simple. You've got the pref, and then any cash flow after that is split 70/30. So very easy to explain, calculate, and here's the annual summary of that. So two different waterfall options. I've got a whole bunch of cash flow waterfalls and joint ventures templates, but these are the two of the most common ones that I see clients using and asking for. So I just put those in here, automated. They'll update as all the cash flows update. And so with this model, you can test interest rates, you can test your starting rent rolls, you can test your rent growth. Where did I put rent growth? I know I have it in here because it runs off of this rent matrix runs off of the age of the units as they're onboarded, and there's a rent factor. Let's see, C9. Average annual rent increase. Okay, so this applies to everything. So you got rent growth. You can test out different leverage rates to use for the initial construction, when the project starts. You can test out costs for different units, ongoing costs, annual expense growth. You can test out different development cost structures, and all that will update the cash flow required in the waterfalls accordingly. So it's a pretty good financial feasibility study here. I try to make it as simple as possible, but have as much inputs that are relevant as makes sense. Let's see, anything else? I think that's pretty much it. This is just the summaries of each of the different waterfalls here. This is the IRR hurdle. This is the simple pref. This is the project summary. That's pretty much it. Yeah, you can edit any cell in yellow with blue text across the template, and then everything else will auto-populate. Let me set this back to yes. And you could also run it for, let's say you only wanted to run it for 7 years, or that'd be 84 months. You can do that, and you can see on year 7, all the relevant metrics populate. Waterfalls, and the IRRs, ROI, equity multiple, net present value. So it's pretty cool. Very flexible. And all right, I guess that's about it. Like and subscribe. Check out the templates. The link will be in the description box below to download. And oh, let me put over here so you can get this. It'll be in the real estate section. So here you can see the condo model. It'll be right in here. There'll be this version, which is build and sell. Then right under it, it'll be the build to rent version, two separate, and I'll put the screenshots in here as well. Now, if you want more, you can check out real estate templates here. You can get all these templates for one-time fee of $2.99. Also, if you want to check out, if we go to the home page, you can download all the templates I've ever built here in the Super Smart Bundle for $9.99. Alrighty, guys, take it easy, and I'll see you on the next one.